Okay, let's go to Mr. Goje. Same question to you. That's what we're hearing about the plight of IDPs in Yobe State. What have you been able to gather from your visits to these camps? Mr. Goje?
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me this morning. Thank you very much, and good morning, and thank you for having me this on your morning brief. I would like to start by saying that in Yobe State, the context is entirely different, because for Yobe, we have already moved from IDPs in camps to a more realistic and durable solution. For the IDPs in Yobe State, while there has been stable improvement in the security situation across the region, then most of our IDPs have already returned to their ancestral home or host community, with the exception of only one political ward, Balandinari, who are still in the host community or nearby towns. So the situation now, even though there has been a tremendous improvement because of the funding constraint, funding with donor fatigue and other developmental challenges, the return of the IDPs comes with a larger burden to the government. And when I say to the government, I mean in terms of resettlement, in terms of giving them their livelihoods, in terms of returning them to their ancestral trades and businesses. This has faced a huge challenge to the government. But of course, as a responsible government with the primary objective of saving and protecting lives of those displaced, this is the direction the government is taking. Currently, at the moment, when you look at the round 49 of the displacement tracking matrix, the Northwest in total has over 640,000 IDPs. Not Central, not East, and if collectively, if you join all the numbers, Yobe State gets one of the most complex number, because ours are in the host community. And when you say they're in the host community, it means we need to reintegrate them. We need to make sure that they are getting the basic livelihood. So the Yobe State government amplifies and also use the durable solution approach to ensure that if you return or you reintegrate or you relocate to new community, what do you need? There is a household package for those that are returning. There's a community package for the community that you're returning. And there's also a package for the community that is hosting you. Assuming the community is hosting you, will be overstretched. The facility that you use in that community will be overstretched. So much so that a package is also assigned for that community that is hosting you. So in Yobe, the approach the government is taking is that of durable solution, and that's the model the governor is implementing, and this is the best global best practice. Internationally, 15 countries were being piloted for the durable solution in line with the UN on the Secretary Action Agenda on Internal Displacement. Nigeria is one of the countries, and Yobe is one of the states in Nigeria that has piloted that and is leading in that process in terms of developing the action plan for durable solution, IDP policy for the state, and returning those IDPs to their host community along the three pathways: return, integrate, or relocate with the accompanying packages. So while there are challenges, we believe that as a responsible government, we first look at their needs. And coming to the donor fatigue and the global funding gaps, what we look at presently, we have reviewed the gaps accompanied with the challenge, especially with the withdrawal of US aid, and we have defined our gaps based on sectors, based on health, based on water, environment, education, all in order to see how government can fit in and close this gap. But in summary, for Yobe, the flight of the IDPs are in the host community, and most of them have returned to their ancestral home, except for Maldonari town, which presently government has developed a holistic approach to return them by rebuilding the town, rebuilding the basic infrastructure, healthcare, education, water, security, so that when they return, their basic services and livelihood will follow thereafter.
I wonder how comprehensive that policy is in terms of reaching, those who are, scattered in areas of camps that they have built by themselves, which would have been my follow-up to you. But let's quickly take it to Mr. Mendunari to confirm some of these things or to raise other concerns about the plight of IDP camps. Mr. Mendunari, the same question to you now. We hear stories of IDPs dying of hunger, building camps on private lands by themselves. They're not earning. Is this the situation of IDPs in Yobe State?
Yeah, good morning all. As you have said, my name is Mukhtar Alhaji Tijani Madamdunari, the State Chairman, Internally Displaced Persons, Yobe State. Well, towards your question, the condition of IDPs in Yobe State, as which you have stated, dying for hunger and cold. Just this is a talk by somebody who is not part of the community, or rather, he is out of the cycle to know what is there in. As I am representing them, as far as Yobe is concerned, Yobe State government is one of the the best governor who has the will and zeal of IDPs and 100% supporting activities of IDPs in Yobe State, and is one of the governor out of the 36 states that has signed into law the bill for the IDP policy in ground now, actively working under durable solution, as now the SEMA has just said. So vulnerability is all over, not only Yobe State. Vulnerability is all over due to the insurgencies, the farmers, herders, clerks, and the global warming, and so on and so forth. So this hardship is a global phenomenon. But for dying and all, SEMA is, government is contributing through SEMA. And the partners which we have in Yobe, particularly the WFP, they have their monthly stipend, which they have their own voucher, card in hand, who will every month go and withdraw that card through food voucher. The food voucher will be used for every person, and a total number of millions have been registered under the WFP and other non-governmental organizations who have been having all such kind of food assistance and livelihood support. And some in other end towards the government, the training and retraining of vulnerables through various skills acquisition. And after the training, they were also supported with startup kits to go and continue with their normal livelihood support. But there in seeing both sides, there are few gaps. The gaps are that you are not returned to your ancestral homes, so the access to land is difficult. Somewhere you have to hire for a land before farming. That is true. That is happening in Yobe. And me, a person now living in host community, as the ESMA has just said, Malam Dunari is one out of the 178 wards which was not returned yet to their ancestral home. And government is now on top gear looking forward after the security situation has been improved. Now government is planning to settle us back. In Yobe, the three pathways which have been used is the return and reintegration. Okay. We didn't relocate, we only integrate and return. These are the two options that have been used, and those who have been integrated will have a, we have a perception survey. Intention survey have been done to the IDPs to decide and look for the places where it's suitable for them to have access to land and access to social amenities, which government has did willingly.
Let me come in quickly here, because you talked about the WFP, the World Food Program. I just want to be sure you're aware that the WFP is suspended emergency food and nutrition for 1.3 million people by the end of July, which is just a few days ago, because of critical funding shortfalls. Are you aware of that? Are you experiencing that?
Yes, of course. As you said, funding has been withdrawn. So the challenges started just within that period of lacking some of the aids that we IDPs have been receiving. And it has affected not only IDPs, the vulnerable in the victims of HIVs and all other malnutrition sectors have been affected. So this is very common, and government has already planned and looking inwards in supporting those things through its counterpart funding to support the internally. That is locally there is a plan to address such kind of issues of children malnutrition, and also there is you say Save the Children, which is now actively come in such kind of support in various wards and local government.
All right, I just wanted to put that in.
And doing all these things.
It did. So I just wanted to put that in so we don't gloss over the issues. They're very real issues. If your WFP is pulling out, if the people do not have access to farmlands, which puts their own livelihoods at risk, then these are major challenges. So let's speak to Mr. Goje to get a sense of what the government is doing, because if the WFP is pulling out, that's a major one. I know the BAY, the Bay States, that's Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe, have come under intense pressure, and particularly for Yobe, the plight of Ambia Tasha, Ambia Kura, and Ambia Shehuri IDPs is also a major concern. So speak to us about what the state government is doing first to buffer the withdrawal of the WFP, and to find a way to get these people back to their farmland so they can farm and in turn feed themselves, their family, and their children. A lot of them suffer from malnutrition.
I think to start with, as a responsible government, immediately after the withdrawal of the US aid and other funding challenges due to the global funding fatigue, His Excellency Governor Malabo invited us to do a deep dive analysis of what are the gaps. We did the analysis, and the analysis has indicated sector by sector, individual by household, how the impact has affected Yobe State population in terms of health, education, agri, and other aspects. And just last week, His Excellency the Governor launched a multi-billion naira agricultural input distribution. This is aligned with some of the outputs of the analysis to make an informed decisions. And most of the IDPs were incorporated in terms of distribution of these farm inputs to access farmlands at the most best price with mechanized. Other partners are key in complementing the ongoing effort of the government. But of course, as government, we are mindful of the fact that they are not here to stay permanently, and that's why we always emphasize on localization, capacity transfer, and ownership. And we are foreseeing this coming not just before the election of the United States, but also due to the other ongoing crises within the country and also globally. We have foreseen it coming, and we are prepared for that. Out of the over 2.2 million ID population individuals across the Northeast, Yobe has almost up to 200,000, 177,000 of the individuals are from Yobe State. So we are mindful of the numbers. And this number is not just about number, it's about individuals with dependents, with the need for access to education, need for access to health.
All right. I may have to come in there so that we can manage our time. But in addition to the people in those areas mentioned by my colleague earlier, there's also informal settlements in Abuja, Maimala, the Maturu area of Yobe State, where they have built informal camps because, according to them, the government does not recognize IDP camps in Yobe State. And we might also ask about the domestication of IDP policy in the state last year, where funding from the budget has been allocated to IDPs. How has that fund been managed? But we must thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time on the program today, with hopes that when we have this conversation again, we'll be speaking about progress, about these camps in many parts of Yobe State. We've been talking with Mr. Mohammed Goje, his Executive Secretary, Yobe State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, and Mr. Mukhtar Tijani Mandunari, Chairman, Internally Displaced Persons, Yobe State. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming through on this conversation.